Welcome to Bigfoot Adventures. Have you ever had a Bigfoot sighting? If you have and you don't want to let anybody know that it was you that saw him, or you're afraid to tell your story because you're afraid of you being made fun of, I'd be glad to tell your story for you. All you have to do is email me your story at bigfootadventures411@gmail.com. Let me know what you want me to say, what you don't want me to say, and I can put your story out there so other people can hear about it without you being identified. So he was out there looking around, making sure he didn't see any black and white creatures walking around out there, because every time he's been out there in the last month or so, he's smelled skunk. And he didn't want to surprise any. So he said he cautiously and quietly opened the back door, scanning around the kennel for any smelly black-white creatures lurking about, when he noticed some movement out of the corner of his eye. Something moved behind the fruit trees down by the junction of where our driveway and the road meet, about 50 feet from the back door. The moon was half full, but the night was clear and the moon was giving off a lot of light. I stepped out to better see what was moving, and I was expecting a dog, a deer, or a person to come into view, but what I saw was quite different. Before I describe what I saw, let me just say that I have long taken the stand that there is no such thing as a Sasquatch, and there are no such creatures, and we would have found skeletal remains if there were any as proof. I am going to only give a description of what I saw, but not an explanation, because I do not have one. I stood in shock after this occurred, my mind reeling, trying to find a reasonable, logical explanation, but I could not find one. I want to also point out that I was fully awake, having been up and awake the 15 minutes before this occurred. I have lived for decades in a very rural area of Idaho, and I have never seen anything like this. I have seen my share of deer, bear, cougars, and daytime and at night, that or a person is what I expect to see. So I saw some movement and stepped out to better see what it was, causing the commotion and disturbing the dogs, both of whom were now quiet, hiding in their houses. The movement to my right stilled for just a moment. It stood behind the plum tree, partially hidden from my view. I turned on my flashlight, and it took off at breaknecking speed up the road. Running uphill, it covered ground way too fast and did so on two legs. No man I know could run this fast uphill. It was very tall, but I could only see its profile, so I have no idea of how broad it was. What I could clearly see is that it ran upright, with long strides, swinging arms, and it looked to me like it was covered in shreds. It had a slightly pointed head, no neck, and appeared light in color, almost a silvery gray, but that could have been because of the moonlight was giving off this color of silvery gray everywhere. That night, it seemed like there was this silvery gray sheen. It quickly glanced over its shoulder, but I couldn't see any features other than what I have already said. It did not seem to slow down. Just where the road turns left, bearing down the corner, it made one great leap, planting one foot on the pavement, and cleared the gravel side of the road, plus several feet of tall grass, as it smoothly plummeted out of sight and down the steep embankment. The next morning, when I went to look for any clues, I saw it leave the road. We found that the grass, just where it meets the pavement, was matted down and there was a large game trail type hole in the bramble. Just over the embankment, nothing else, no clear tracks, no strips of clothing or fur, no other clues. I am stumped. I had made up my mind to not even tell anyone about this because it sounds so unbelievable and because even talking about it sounds kind of disturbing. I suspect I will never know for sure what it was, but I will surely take other people's stories a lot more serious now considering what I have seen. So I think this man's story is pretty cool considering he was a non-believer and now is wondering about it. So I do hope you are enjoying my stories. These stories I do get off of different Bigfoot websites, and to my knowledge, to the best of my knowledge, I find them to be true. You know, I don't know that for a fact, but I think so. I think these are true. So I hope you're enjoying these stories, and I appreciate you watching. And until next time, I'll see you then.